Welcome to Like Mother, Like Murder. I am Rachel.
And I'm Heather.
We bring you the good,
The badass,
and the crime.
This is Like Mother, Like Murder. Welcome back to another episode of Like Mother, Like Murder.
Like
while
Mother, Like
Rachel
Murder.
gets herself. Okay, the reason that this is making me laugh is because we are officially putting things on YouTube, and I just love that the start of this episode is going to be Rachel just putting on her chapstick. I love it. I love it. Welcome to Like Mother, Like Murder. This is how we live. Chapstick it up.
Welcome
Chapstick
back.
it up.
Yes, welcome. You know what? It's those winter months, and my lips are dry. And if I'm about to talk for a really long time and drink, I need to have some moisturized lips. You know,
we gotta, in 2024, what's in? Moisturized lips.
Exactly.
That's what's out. Chapped winter lips.
That's it.
Out.
That's it right there.
Out.
Look, moisture revitalizer, baby.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love
If
it.
anyone wants to get your lips like mine. Okay. Okay. We are crazy. Welcome back to Like Mother, Like Murder, you guys. Episode 82.
82.
Yes.
Oh my God. Rachel, we have to start planning now for episode 100.
Oh, yeah. What should we
Because
do?
it's going to be here before we know it.
You guys tell us what to do.
Tell us what to
so many
do.
ideas in our brains right now. I don't even know how to think about something else. So just tell us what you want us to do for episode 100, and
We're for
try to
real.
make it happen.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real. Just tell us. I'm actually very excited about our episode today because I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I got the idea actually from another podcast, which I will shout out. But before we get into the episode,
Okay.
It is New Year's Day
Yes.
when we're recording this. We're actually a little bit ahead of schedule, which is a little bit unlike us
No, we're
right
very
now
behind.
lately.
You could say we're ahead because we're away. No, we need to be at least like 3 to 5 episodes ahead.
I know,
So, yeah.
it's bad. But you know what? Holidays. So what did you
Right.
do for New Year's Eve? I'm very interested because she texted me, you guys. Rachel
missed
texted
out.
me last night and said, do you want us to call you? We're singing to people. And I'm like caroling? Like what? What?
Yes.
So please enlighten me because I've been waiting to find out what the hell you were talking about.
Okay, so last night, my daughter got a karaoke machine for Christmas.
Oh.
And yeah, Santa came through, okay? And so we utilized it last night for probably, like, no joke, 3 hours. And we sang so many songs, and so for like the first hour, we were just getting it. We were getting it. And we
Okay.
suck. We are awful. You guys, I'm not a singer. It is hilarious, okay? And I feel bad for my neighbors. It is what it is, okay? But what we decided to do, because of how bad we were, we wanted to share that badness with our humans, right?
Love it.
And so we decided, what better way to kick off New Year's than to call people and sing them a song?
Oh my God.
And that's
Oh my God.
exactly what we did. So we started with my mom. We sang her, I don't know, a Lady Gaga song. I don't even remember. Then we called my dad and we sang him Country Roads, Take Me Home. And then we called Michael and Laura, Listen to Me. I rapped Colt 45.
No,
to
you
Mike and Laura.
didn't.
I sure did. Yes, I did.
Oh my God.
And then, so then we called like Joel's mom. We called Crystal. Like,
I
we
love
were just
it.
calling people. And it was a freaking blast. It was
I love
a blast.
it.
We loved it. So,
That sounds so
You
amazing.
missed out.
What an amazing way to kick off the new year.
we didn't make it. By the way, we fell asleep at 11:30. We didn't even care. Like,
That's,
we were
I mean,
fine.
but you had a good time.
yeah.
That's all that matters.
yeah, for sure.
And that is so funny. Yeah, I woke up, we definitely, so I thought about letting the girls stay up for like a little bit, like maybe do like New Year or the New York New Year and drop at 9 p.m. But I was like, these girls have been their schedules have been so messed up because of the holidays, this, that, and the other. Neither one of them naps, blah, 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 blah. I was like, no, you're going to bed. So they went to bed, and then we were at my parents' house, and so we were like, oh, maybe we'll have a, no. I was in bed by, like, Zach and I were asleep by 9. My dad didn't make it. He was, we already thought my mom had fallen asleep, but then she came out right about the time we were going to bed, and she goes, oh, I was just laying down.
Okay, like, well, okay. You tricked us.
Yeah. And my dad said he was out by like 10:30, and I was like, wow. And then I woke up this morning and saw all of the fun stuff that like these parents were doing for their kids. And now granted, a lot of these parents had like older kids, but it's like they'd set up balloon drops, and like a girl we actually went to middle school with did the cutest thing where she set up like balloons in a circle, like numbered like a clock, and then as they counted down like the hours, and she had the kids pop the balloons with like little stuff coming out. It was super cute.
Who did that?
Lauren.
Who's that?
Okay, I'm trying for the life of me to remember her maiden name, but she's been married, but then she ended up going to high school with Megan, like Lauren, like little
or something.
Yes.
I know who you're talking about. I don't know if that's how you say it, but
so yeah,
sorry.
She did. I was like, that is the cutest thing, and when my kids are older, I want to do that. And so yeah, no, I was seeing all this fun stuff, and I was just like, wow, I'm lame.
Girl, it's okay. It's okay. I couldn't wait to go to bed. I told Kinsey, because Kinsey was like, oh, I'm staying up until midnight. And I was like, that's cool. I'm not. So you might be the only one. Like, Joel and I go to bed.
I know. I was like, I can't hang, man. I can't hang. I honestly am not sure I've made it to midnight since I've had kids. Not gonna lie. So it is, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is.
It's fine.
But maybe next year I'll get a babysitter, and
let's celebrate right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's celebrate right now.
I'll tell you what I this is actually what I wanted to drink last night, but my mom didn't have any vermouth. You guys, I think 2024 is going to be my year of martinis, because in my wine time glass,
I love it.
I have been just like digging martinis lately. We went to Philadelphia, and I got this super good martini at this super fancy steak restaurant, and ever since then I've just been all about the martinis. So I have martini. I like vodka martinis. Don't give me a gin martini.
I don't like gin at all.
Yeah, not feeling the gin. But I love it because it's so easy to make. I didn't realize it's literally vodka, vermouth, which is, I found at Ralph's, and I do like it like with the olives and like dirty with the olive juice. So I'm loving it, and that's what I'm going to be drinking tonight. Rachel, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a margarita tonight.
Get it, girl. Get it. Get it, girl. Oh my God, look at that salt on the rim. Try. I remember when we could wrap that whole thing?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. Look, I sang enough last night. You are not getting me to sing anything right now.
Did you sing any Nikki? Because if you didn't, let's do it right now.
I sang Afro Man's Colt 45. Like, you don't
that's all you need.
Right there it is. You guys, my brother was dying.
I bet he was in heaven.
He was a rapper back in the day, okay? So that's the thing is, like, I think he was staring at me, like, so concerned for me.
But also, like, my sister's the coolest because...
That is true. That is true.
I mean, come on.
You're right. But yeah, margarita. You guys, cheers. Cheers to
Let's do a New Year's drop with us. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Cheers!
Oh, cheers! Yes. As I almost spill. The salt.
That's what I like. I was just gonna say my salty olives is what makes this. This is the best.
Also, I think that the next time we're together, you got to make me one of those because
yes.
I don't know.
feeling this.
I don't know, man.
Drink.
I don't know. But yeah, there it is. There it is.
I'm feeling this
I'm
a
going
lot.
to enjoy this margarita because I get to sit back and drink.
You get
today.
to sit back and relax while I tell you this crazy ass story.
Ooh.
This crazy ass story. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Are you
am.
ready for episode 82?
82,
We're getting
baby.
back. We're getting back to it, guys. We're getting back to this is a mom crime through and through and through. I'm telling you.
Through and through.
But I do want to start this episode by saying we will be talking about domestic violence as well as a murder-suicide. So I know, right? Not usually where I go with this, but this case was just like, whoa. But want to put that out there because it's 2024. We're in a new year. If this is, this kind of case is not part of your emotional journey this year, completely understand. I want you all to take care of your mental health. And if this is not something you want to hear, I get it. But so I do want to let you know, I mean, I'm not going into crazy details on it, but it is part of the case. So, take care of that. Now, the other part, before I actually get into the case that I'm really excited to do, is shout out one of our fave new podcast buds that we made in 2023, Beyond the Shadows. Shout out to you guys because I actually got this idea from you. You guys were talking, it was one of your episodes, you were talking about the shows like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters and stuff like that, and you actually mentioned this woman and her husband who were regulars on Ghost Adventures, and I'll get into it. And that's where I was like, oh, and they mentioned the fact that these two are, I mean, spoiler alert, but you're going to hear it anyway. These two are now deceased. And I wanted to be like, oh my God, I should do that case because I had totally forgot. So yeah, it's really interesting. But before I start, did you ever watch like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures? You've never watched this? Okay.
So we actually, Joel and I had this conversation earlier because, I mean, if you guys are new here, I don't really watch TV very much. And even back in the day, like when I did watch TV, it was nothing like that. Like, I never watched any of these shows that Heather brings up or people recommend. And today I came out and Joel had a show on, I don't even remember what it was called. And he was like, oh yeah, this reminds me of like First 48 or something like that. And I'm just staring at him and I'm like, yeah, those are like some crucial hours. He's like, that's a show. Yeah. It's a show. And I was like, I mean, yeah, but in the show, I'm sure those are like some crucial hours, man.
Well, that's the whole point. That's the whole point is that like that's the crucial time. So that's why they.
It makes a lot of sense. Okay. But no, I did not watch it. I don't know what you're talking about. So. Okay.
So Ghost Adventures, it was on the Travel Channel. It came out in, 2000s when that was kind of all the rage, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. I did watch some of these shows. It wasn't something I like tuned into every week and turned the channel to it every week, but it was something I watched. Like if it was on, I'd watch it. A lot of times if I was like in like traveling in a hotel, it's like always on. So like I would watch it a lot. And it's just a lot easier for me to watch these shows when I'm not in my own house because I think I get less freaked out being somewhere else. That makes sense. Yeah. But if you've ever watched Ghost Adventures, you have probably seen an episode with Debby and Mark Constantino. Debby is short for Deborah, but on the internet, it is spelled either with a Y or an IE. I would literally every other article I read, it was spelled a different way. But Debby and Mark Constantino, and they were considered EVP or electric voice phenomenon experts. Okay, so that's when they can
voice phenomenon experts.
Yeah, so that's when they take these like recordings and like maybe during like when you're in the like say you're in the haunted room, you can't actually like hear it, but you're recording it, and then later you play it back and you like change the frequency or something like that, and then you can start hearing it. So that's what this couple, specifically Debby, was like, you know, that was their thing. And so they were regulars on the series. They appeared in the Ghost Adventures actually started out as it was almost like a movie, like a documentary, and then it became a series. So it first came out, I think they said like summer of 2007. So they were in that original like documentary, and then they appeared on the show several times throughout the series. It was difficult for me to find much else on their background outside of their appearances on the show, and of course everything that I'm about to get into. But from
that's probably on purpose.
I think it might be. But what I can find is that they were married in 1989, and they had 2 daughters, Raquel and Sienna, who I think are probably like our age-ish. Okay. Yeah. So they began their ghost hunting careers as early as 2002 when they took a class on ghost hunting.
Okay, sign me up.
A class. So this is exactly what I was telling Zach. I was like, did you know they have literal like classes about this? This is insane. Would you do it though? Would you take a class on ghost hunting?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. It wouldn't
not
freak you
in my
out?
home. It wouldn't be an online class. Like I wouldn't sign up no, not here. I would go somewhere and take it though.
It wouldn't be an online class. So this is the thing, and I'll get into it a little later, but it's like, I'm a believer 100%, but I also tend not to try to like
invite things into your own home.
100%. Yeah. Like, I don't want those vibes. Like, right. I believe, but like, I believe you are going to stay over there because I don't need you around me.
You're not welcome here.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. So they began, like I said, ghost hunting as early as 2002. And so the teacher who actually taught the class, she actually started working with them. She said she like traveled with them and did ghost hunting with them or whatever. And she's the one who actually introduced them to the guy who is the host of the Ghost Adventure show. And she said that they seemed like a loving couple when she met them, when they were working together. She never witnessed any physical violence. And she said that, in fact, in their home, on the wall, they had one of those signs that read, "All because 2 people met and fell in love."
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm. And I have mixed feelings about signs like this because it's almost like that, you know, I don't know. Like, you know, what are you?
I'm like, well, I don't know what to think about it yet because, I mean, that could just be great. That could just be wonderful. I mean,
for sure.
How many people have that sign above their bed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if they're intuitive, if they're like able to talk to other things or understand
spirits and
like,
whatever. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're really understanding and good at communication, and you know,
maybe because they can communicate with ghosts, they're really good at communication with other humans. But that's probably not the case in
is that not where we're headed?
No, that's not where we're headed. Actually. Okay. So
I don't know what to take on this because
I love that you know like nothing about this because it's gonna make it that much more interesting. So, in 2012, though, their relationship was a real life scary story. No matter what you believe about ghosts or the paranormal, by 2012, this relationship was.
I'm just over here like, because I don't know anything, I'm like, is this ghost related or is it they turn on each other? So now I'm just like, what are we getting into right now?
You will have to wait and see.
Debbie, what's happening?
I know. Okay. So if you ever watch the show, you know, I specifically know I've seen episodes of this, but I don't specifically remember like them in it. We know Rachel hasn't, but if any of you listeners have, you may have noticed some bickering or tension between the couple, and it turns out that that wasn't just like for the cameras. It wasn't just for like the camera drama. The couple did have some issues, including, as I mentioned earlier, some domestic violence that had occurred for years, and they eventually became estranged. And as I kind of alluded to at the beginning, they both would end up deceased.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I'm going to take a drink for that.
Like you just take a course, you start ghost hunting, and then all hell breaks loose.
Basically. Yeah.
So far.
Again. Yeah.
All right.
So maybe not get into ghost hunting. So 2012 was the first reported incidents, but based on things I kind of read and, just kind of the vibes I was getting, it was the first reported incidents, but it probably wasn't the actual first, and it definitely wouldn't be the last time the couple had dealt with some kind of major domestic violence. So in 2012, Mark filed a restraining order against his wife, Debby, saying that she was intoxicated and he was worried she might cut or stab him with a knife. Oh. And some articles I read said that she was actually arrested after this incident. Okay. That was in 2012. Yeah.
All right.
And then again in 2015, he filed another temporary restraining order against her because she did actually slice him with a kitchen knife.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I believe it was this one in the 2015 that they, I guess, had been arguing about money. And it resulted in that. And she was actually charged with domestic violence and battery with a deadly weapon after this 2015 knife attack on Mark.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was March, I believe, of 2015. So later that same year, in August of 2015, Debby and a friend were arriving to the Constantino family house to check on some of the family dogs, and a verbal altercation started. Okay. So there was Debby and her friend in the car. Her friend's name is Summer. And then there was Debby's husband, Mark, who, seemingly at this point, they were not living together. I actually read some reports that Debby was actually living with Summer at the time. So at the house, there was Mark and then Debby and Mark's adult daughter, Raquel. So remember, they had two kids, two girls, Raquel and Sienna. So allegedly what happens is Raquel, Mark and Debby's daughter, opens the door and pulls out Debby's friend Summer from the car and starts hitting her.
Oh.
Yeah. Not sure what started all this, but apparently just this was not a good situation, because then Mark, he drags Debby out of the car and into the house. And I guess at this point, both Mark and Raquel were in the house with Debby. And Summer was still outside. She was trying to contact police. And inside the house, according to Debby's report of this, Mark began hitting her and choking her, wouldn't let her leave.
Okay.
Yeah. And so police eventually do arrive, and Mark is charged after this, arrested and charged with kidnapping because he took her into the house and wouldn't let her leave, domestic battery by strangulation, and domestic battery.
All bad things. Oh my gosh.
All bad things. And even worse, their adult daughter, Raquel, is considered an accomplice in this because she was right there kind of helping her dad. And so she's also charged with kidnapping, domestic battery, and first-degree burglary. And from what I could tell, the burglary charge was because something was going on with the car. I think like she had taken the car from them.
Okay.
So all of that, but then they're both released on bail. Yeah, okay. They get bailed out, and it's crazy because, I I'm sure, like, I mean, I know that part of their release was you are not to contact Debby anymore at all.
That makes a whole lot of sense right there. Well, it's one of those things, too, where you just said how she was the one kind of having these charges and these restraints in the first place, and then this happens.
Right.
I mean, 7
So it was
definitely
so exactly. So it was definitely not one-sided, for sure. It seems like, you know, both sides were definitely responsible for different points for so the real question is, like, y'all just needed to stay the hell away from each other. Like, stop hanging, like, stop seeing each other. So anyway, after this incident, Debby did take out a protective order against Mark, and she finally filed for divorce. I guess, like, all this time. Yeah, right? Like, it's like, is this what it is? Is this really what it is? I'm wanting a divorce from this guy because we keep hitting each other. Okay. Yeah, that's really so she filed for divorce. She moved in with 2 roommates. And I could not tell for the life of me. I read like 6 or 7 articles if one of those roommates was Summer, who had been in the car and part of the previous incident. I couldn't tell for sure, but I do know she moved in with 2 roommates. One was a female, one was a male named James Anderson. And it seems like Mark was either still staying at that family home where the incident occurred, or potentially he was living with his daughter Raquel, who had an apartment. And so they were based like kind of out of Vegas, Reno. She had an apartment close in the area like Sparks, Nevada. So all kind of in that same area. So
Vegas and Reno are very far from each other.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they're pretty far. I mean, Sparks and Reno are not as far, but
so maybe I'm thinking Sparks and Reno. Reno,
Vegas
for sure.
and Reno are about, I don't know, probably like 7 hours or something like that.
For real?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I didn't think Nevada was that big, but you know what? 2024, you know what's not on my in list? Knowing geography. So if I'm wrong, y'all let me know. And
you know what's out for me? Thinking about that. You know what's in for me? Guessing.
We promise to not only take a class on ghost hunting, but on geography.
We don't promise that. Not at all. We don't promise that at all. Look, ghost hunting over geography. Okay, I do have
any
a question,
day of the week. Okay, go.
So were they still a part of the show, or were they still doing the ghost hunting show during all of this?
So from what I can tell, there were still things kind of like airing more recently, but they all could have been filmed, you know, like a long time ago. Right. I do think that
they weren't a week ahead.
No.
Gotcha. Understood.
They weren't like Mother like murdering it.
You guys, it's all right. We're trying. Traveling is hard.
I love it. Okay. So that all happened early August of 2015. Now, only a month after all of this happened, in the early morning of September 22nd, one of Debby's roommates, the female, who I'm not sure is Summer, it could be a different person, she came home to find one of her roommates, James, the male roommate, dead. He had been shot.
What's he doing dead?
Yeah. And she also noticed that Debby was missing. And so she obviously calls the authorities, and she tells the authorities, I'm worried about Debby. Like, I think something may have happened to her. Interestingly, that's why I think, like, this roommate had to have known, like, some of what was going on if she didn't immediately assume, like, Debby was the one who shot James, or it was some
that's what
other...
I was gonna say. So, yeah, there has to be some underlying, like, thought process there, because my first thought, knowing nothing, is, oh, she did something bad and she's gone, but they think of it differently.
They immediately, their first thought is someone killed James and Debbie's also missing. So
she's already been kidnapped before. She's going to hear.
Yeah, that's kind of, and that, again, that's why I think this roommate, if it was Summer, it makes sense because she saw and witnessed like what happened the previous month. Or, you know, if it wasn't Summer, it was definitely someone who was familiar enough to think like, okay, Debbie's in trouble because she's not here. Okay, so the police, they actually start tracking, pinging Debbie's phone, and they track it to Raquel's apartment. So they track it to Debbie and Mark's daughter's apartment, and they go there, and when they arrive, they find that Mark has basically barricaded himself in the apartment, and he's also holding Debbie hostage there.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So basically, the cops show up, they approach the apartment, they hear gunshots from inside the apartment, and they hear a voice, a male voice, presumably they're thinking it's Mark's, and he's shouting. And one article that I read stated that he was saying things like he just wanted 15 minutes with his wife or else he'd shoot her. Trying to tell him, like, back off, I just want 15 minutes to talk to her, or I'm going to shoot her. Okay. At this time, you know, police are trying to negotiate with him. They're trying to, like, get everyone out of this situation unharmed. Yeah. Apparently, he's also somehow probably, you know, like, calling the daughter, Raquel, whose apartment they're at, but because she's not in the apartment. But she is in contact with her dad. Okay. But the standoff, it went on for a couple hours. I read like 2 to 3 hours. And then again, they hear gunshots.
No.
Yeah. And so they eventually blow the door down with some explosives.
Yep.
When they entered the residence, they found both Mark and Debby Constantino dead from gunshot wounds in an apparent murder-suicide.
Yep. There it
is. They were both only in their 50s.
Yeah, so. I mean, follow their restraining orders.
Right.
They're there for a reason.
Right. Clearly, you guys are not.
Why? Do you tell me why?
I can. Well, I mean, really, is there ever a really good answer for why? I mean, even, you know, but I do have some more to tell you.
I said, yeah, even though there's not, but
there's not.
I just want to know what there is.
Okay. So.
That sucks, man.
After all, I know it's so sad. After all of this, but before I go on, like kind of what you were saying, like clearly you two are not good for each other. You guys have known this for at least 3 years because it's on record that since 2012, y'all have been fighting to the point of physical fighting, right? Yeah. Not good. So stay away from each other.
And like another thing is, and even if your children are young, there are ways to go about this. But your children are old enough. Raquel has her own apartment. You do not have to have any sort of contact with each other at this point. Right. Whatsoever.
It's not like you're having to do drop-off and pickups of kids.
And even if, I mean, if it's that bad and your kids are young, there are so many ways around that. You know, there's so many other options.
For sure.
If that person is someone you cannot be around. But they're old enough, you know?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But apparently, I mean, from what I'm hearing from you, maybe she was trying to stay away. And
yeah, I mean, it seems like maybe they tried and failed, because one thing I did read was that I think after the 2012 incident, you know, he filed that restraining order, but then a day later, like, he kind of like took it back and they got back together, which just resulted in it all happening again, you know? So it's just kind of one of those things where it's obviously like a volatile situation on both ends, and it would probably just, clearly in this case, it would have been best if everyone just kept their distance and moved on with their lives. So
I hate that for the kids so much.
I know, it does suck. But speaking of the kids, I'm gonna get into at least Raquel. It's interestingly, I read like 6-7 articles about this. They never once really mentioned Sienna, who was the other daughter. Yeah. Okay. But obviously Raquel was part of at least one of these incidents, and then the whole thing took place at her apartment. So there were those standing charges against Debbie for attacking Mark in that, March stabbing. Those were obviously like dropped, seeing as both, parties were now deceased. The charges against Mark for what had happened the previous month were also dropped. So, they both basically had charges against each other. They were about to go to court for divorce. All of that has been dropped. But their daughter, Raquel, remember, she was also charged kind of as an accomplice during the incident with her mom and her mom's friend Summer. So she did still face charges, but now they were changed, and they took out any of the charges that related to anything that happened with Debbie and anything that was based on Debbie's statement, and now they were only limited to what happened to Summer that night. So the following year, March 2016, Raquel actually takes a plea deal, resulting in a 175-day suspended sentence, an anger management program, and an alcohol program. And and I mean, I don't know how I feel about this, because so remember, the perpetrator in this case now is Raquel, who is Mark and Debbie's daughter, and the victim is Summer, right? Debbie's friend. They said that Summer, she got a black eye from the incident. She had to go to therapy. She, and she just lost a friend. She was friends with Debbie. She dropped
the charges? Like, did she?
She did not drop the charges, and she didn't get anything. She didn't get any kind of restitution, and all that Raquel got was a suspended sentence and some anger management and alcohol program. And interestingly, I found this. I had very mixed feelings about this. We've talked about before cases where, mother, daughter, and how that ends up in court, and daughter's feeling one way and mother's feeling one way and not sure how to feel because that's your mom. But at the end of the day, you guys, So Raquel's defense attorney, he pointed to the fact that Raquel, since the incident, had lost both her parents. But it's like, I don't know. It seemed to me that there's not a lot of love lost between Raquel and her mom. If Raquel was part of beating up her mom's friend and also helping her dad beat her up, but I'm like, okay, I mean, at the end of the day, that's true. But then again, I was also like, man, like, poor Summer, she shows up to a house, she gets beat up, and seemingly she's just there to help her friend with, like, the dogs. She gets beat up. She's witness to her friend getting beat up. Yeah. And then I really cannot. I tried to search whether or not she was the roommate who also found James Anderson dead. So remember, at this point, Mark also hasn't been charged because he can't be charged, but seemingly he's the one who also killed James Anderson before kidnapping Debbie.
You would put those together.
Right? And now she's also dealing with the fact that one of her friends, Debbie, is now dead. And now the girl who beat her up, gave her a black eye, and also helped facilitate the kidnapping and beating up of her friend, and is also the apartment where her friend died. Now she's just out, and nothing going on. So I feel really bad for Summer in this situation. I also feel bad for Raquel. Clearly, the family situation wasn't the best, and hopefully these classes will be good for her and she can move on from that. But one of the reports I read, I was immediately irritated because it was a article talking about the fact that Raquel it was facing those charges and she took the plea deal. And I read somewhere that when they were reading the charges, she rolled her eyes. And I was like, girl.
Yeah.
Girl. Like, so anyway.
A ghost probably grabbed them eyeballs and rolled them for her. Like, they came into this. They were like, hey, guess what?
And this is what was so funny. It's so funny you bring that up because I was literally, I run the story by Zach like I always do. And he immediately asked, he goes, so which ghost was it that haunted them that is responsible then for them like getting into this thing? And even though, okay, so Zach obviously said that jokingly because he doesn't believe in anything. He doesn't believe in ghosts. And he was, completely making fun of the situation. But I honestly think it's a fair question because like, when you talk to people from before they were kind of, I don't know, quote unquote famous from this ghost hunting, they were a loving couple. Fine. They, they had a good life. They seemed really in love. They were fine. They start their ghost hunting. They get their 15 minutes of fame or whatever you want to call it. And after that, things get really, really bad. And who knows if it was definitely just one of those situations that would have ended up there regardless. Like maybe that was just going to be part of their journey no matter what, right? But also it's like, was it the 15 minutes of fame that they're getting from TV? Was it a fucking ghost? It made me think of, they talk about like the curse of the lottery, right? That like people who win the lottery just like they end up in. So is it really like a curse of the lottery, or is it because like you win this money and it just like changes who you are as a person, or maybe it doesn't change who you are but lets the bad parts of you out? Like who knows? But I was like, I know, and I didn't tell him because I know he would have just rolled his eyes at me, but I was like, in my head I'm thinking, I know you're making fun, but it is a fair question because maybe they were inviting a lot of bad mojo into their lives by being part of, by doing the work that they did.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. And if it's your plan, if it's your journey, if you're only going to be with that person for a certain amount of time, okay, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure if you're not saging, if you're not cleansing properly, these things, they are tying on. Those entities are a part of you.
Seriously.
And I'm sure that is, that could play a factor. And then the way that you said it, that 15 minutes, I mean, things get to their head.
Yeah.
Ooh,
well, and like also now that you said that, what I'm thinking of is they were the EVP people, right? So they were the ones who took recordings. So that means not only did they go to a haunted house and maybe experience something and maybe that ghost, whatever, but they're now also in possession of actual like tapes and recordings, meaning like they have an item seemingly in their house, in their office, whatever, around them that has like the bad mojo. So it's not like you're just leaving the mojo at the haunted house after you've done your thing. What you've done is recorded it and brought it with you.
Are you still going to sign up for the ghost hunting classes or not?
I'll do it if you do it.
Okay, sounds good.
But we have to make a promise to each other right now.
To not bring the CDs home?
Yeah, we keep all of that out, away.
Out. Yeah.
And away.
I don't need anything in the. Trust me, this house got enough going on. There's enough things living in this house.
2024 is going to be a clean year. We don't need any of the bad mojo. No. So, yeah.
Out with the entities and toxic people.
That's right.
With the sage.
That's right. And the cleansing crystals. That's 100% what it is.
Yes.
I always have to move my crystals off my mantle during the holidays to make room for all of the gnomes that my mom continues to get me every holiday. And so I feel like after this episode, I probably should like immediately put them back up. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Well, and this is totally, I want to hear everything else you have to say. But so part of it towards the middle of you talking, which I'm recording in a different area right now, guys. I just moved my studio back to where it was in the beginning. But I'm like sitting there trying to listen to you, and my dog, so I heard something. I took one ear out, and I like take it out, right? So you're talking about ghost hunting. I hear like what I thought was like a bang. So then I take the headpiece off. I hear another bang, and I'm like, what is that? And then my dog starts barking like crazy. So then I'm like, what do I do? Just sit here and listen to you talk? Okay, I'm going to just sit here and listen to you talk.
I don't like that.
Yeah. She's quiet now because I text Seb. I was like, I need you to take that dog inside.
She's got bad mojo.
Yeah.
You need to sage Derby. Yeah, Derby, come on, Derby. Derby has done some crazy shit while we're recording, to be honest. She has freaked us out more than once, so.
She knows what's up in this house.
She does.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, just a bit.
Also
just a bit.
Thankful for that girl.
but honestly, I don't have to. I mean, it was gonna be a super short episode because that's the tragic freaking story, and it's so hard because I know you were like, but like why? But that's what sucks.
They were at a bad place, and unfortunately, whatever was eating them up inside, or and especially. Apparently, they were both really going through stuff because
for sure.
It wasn't, even if it started with her and then he did stuff later, like both of them.
It wasn't one-sided.
It was very, very toxic and negative and a lot of bad stuff in that relationship. And at that point, you have to just separate yourself.
For sure. I think that needs to be this episode is coming out beginning of 2024. Let this be a 2024 lesson. Let's just keep the toxic out. Like just
2024 toxic no more.
Love it.
No more baby.
Next shirt.
2023 all about me. 2024 toxic no more.
Start thinking of 2025 already. No, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. We're trying to get back to our, we've been doing a lot of, we've been having our guest spots, which we of course love. We've been doing a lot of more kind of, different stuff, around the holidays, which we also love, but I'm excited to get back into our, mom heavy stuff. And I feel like this was just like, all around, and the fact that her daughter just kept popping up here and there, I was like, wow, this is some crazy.
Where does she
some
stand
crazy
right
stuff.
now? Do you know?
So
where does she?
I looked her up. She has an Instagram and a Facebook. So, but it seems like she's doing her thing. I didn't really find too much on Sienna, the other daughter, but I like to hope that she's.
She's.
I hope
she just do her own thing. And
maybe she stayed away from the situation as well. I hope, and just kind of because it is tragic to not only like lose both of your parents, but also in such like a tragic way, and then to you yourself have been involved in something so tumultuous and violent so recently, before your parents murder suicide. That's some rough stuff. So I hope she's in a better place. I hope she's found the help she needs. I hope that the anger management and the alcohol program were just stepping stones, and she's getting the help she needs. And yeah, because that's a rough situation. Right. If you guys have ever watched Ghost Adventures though and remember seeing them, like y'all need to I was totally gonna watch the documentary one that they're in, like the original Ghost Adventures or whatever, but I totally ran out of time because holidays, family. I feel so bad, Rachel, because I know you've been trying to text me, and usually I'm really good, but the last few days I have been checked out of my phone. Which I feel like is a good thing, but I also have responsibilities, and I'm like, I kind of need to.
We work together.
I need to stay on top of my responsibilities, but at the same time, it was nice to the last couple of days, check out, spend time with the girls, spend time with Zach, and I was still reading. I've been reading a lot.
I love that.
So that has been fun. But at the same time, it's I'm ready to get back into it. Back into it.
Here we go. You better be prepared for that, because 2024, baby.
I know we did our goals last episode, but I thought of another one. Are you ready?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. So I feel like in 2023 we had, a few people reach out and say like, cover this case or whatever. And we covered one that specifically, like, I remember one of my, a mom that our daughters go to dance class together was like, oh my God, this one is crazy. She literally sent me the article and was like, dude. And I was like, okay, we're going to, we're going to cover it. We covered it. Awesome. One of my goals in 2024, in addition to, like just growth is more, I can never think of the word, Rachel. What am I thinking? Like where it's like there's back and forth, like there's involvement from our
that's a good word.
Listeners. And one of those involvements, you guys, is you need to recommend cases. And specifically, we mentioned this not too long ago because I covered those sisters. I want to do a cult case, but there are so many, and all of them there's so many crazy ones out there. I need you guys to be like, I'm interested in this cult case. Heather, do a deep dive on this cult and give me all the details. And I want to do that. I want to do that for you. So that is one of my goals, podcast goals of 2024. I want case recommendations, faux show. So hit us up. You can email us like motherlikemurder@gmail.com. Are there underscores in that one? No.
Nope.
No underscores in that one. So that's just like motherlikemurder. Obviously, you guys can DM us on our Instagram, which is @like_mother_like_murder at
you did great.
Instagram. I did it.
Instagram. All of our socials, you guys, are like murder with the underscores in
yes.
them.
And hit up the YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube. I did want to say really quickly, you did so good. I'm so proud of you. We can never do that. It's so funny. That's so hard to say. I was like, are you looking at something as you do
I'm not, but I was like,
not.
in my head, I was like, say it and then underscore, and then say it and then underscore.
That is so funny. Now I totally forgot. What the hell was I about to say to you? It's okay.
You too.
Oh, no, sneak peek to next week because I kind of I dabble in a little cult-ish situation.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely
yes,
not.
Yes.
Definitely not full-on cult vibes, but
I love it.
You'll see.
I love the dabbles though. Those are also just as interesting.
Dabble it up, baby.
Dabble it up.
But thank you for that, and man, I feel for them because the other thing, even, I mean, and this is just the way that my brain works, is like, even with Raquel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like none of her stuff, like maybe she wasn't the one trying to do all of that. Maybe she was there and it wasn't, her
it all got
intent.
misconstrued for her, for sure.
I mean, how many times do you see, how many times have you been in a fight, Heather, when someone, not even been in a fight, when I get in a fight and you have to jump over to help me, man, and then it's like you give someone a black eye because I was trying to hurt somebody. That's crazy how many times you've done that.
That has happened so many fucking times, so I'm telling you.
Like, trust me, like, that's not all you.
Yeah.
You were there supporting.
It's true.
So then it's like, yeah, you still did it. But at the same time, it
could have just been a kind of caught up in the situation. So yeah, exactly. Like what you're saying is true. I really do hope for the best. So I mean, who knows? Either way, I just hope she's in a better place.
Better place. Yes, better place. And who knows? Maybe 2024, she's coming out with Ghost Adventures Part 2.
Do it, girl. Live on your, because that is like, their legacy in terms of, because a lot of like the Ghost Adventures people, when this happened, they were like, this is a tragedy, this is horrible, and so they do have like a positive legacy in that realm of, in that community. And so it is a loss, and, regardless of what you believe, and exactly. So I think for sure, I like that idea. Raquel, do it. Do it, girl. Ghost Adventures Part 2.
She's listening and she's like, both of you guys shut up and don't ever say my name again in your whole entire life. And I'm like, okay.
Okay, if that's not your journey, that's fine. We understand. But it would be super cool.
Yeah. Hope you're doing good, though, because that is a lot to go through. And
for sure.
That is such a freaking bummer, man.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go check that out. Hey, Scott and Ryan, thanks for putting that in.
I know. Again, thank you for that. I was literally, it's so funny because in my head, I can perfectly remember. I always listen to them at the gym. They just like, and I probably look like a straight up weirdo because when they make me laugh, like I laugh out loud at the gym with my headphones on, like in the middle of a set. And so I was at the gym, and I remember specifically I was on one of those machines where you, like, it feels so naughty because you're just, like, spreading your legs super fast. And you're like, yeah. And so I was like, do it. And then they were... and then they mentioned this, and they mentioned her, and they were like, oh, yeah, and, you know, how she died. And I was like, what? And then I look it up, and I was like... oh my gosh. And then I was looking, I had no idea. I had no idea. And so when they literally, you know, broke the news to me, and even though this happened literally like almost 10 years ago, but I was just like, oh my God, that's crazy. And so, and then I was like, oh, I need to do this case. This is some crazy stuff because I definitely, it's so funny because I listen to Scott and Ryan and they have these crazy stories and they're both obviously like in tune with stuff, right? Like they're both obviously like, in tune, and I'm not in tune whatsoever. I'm just not, but I am a believer. And so when they mentioned this, I just kept thinking like, oh my gosh, like maybe it's a good thing I'm not super in tune or like whatever, because like what if she did like bring bad mojo home, you know, and it resulted in this kind of thing. So but yeah, thank you, Scott and Ryan. Beyond the Shadows, if you guys haven't already, go check them out. They are great. They do some amazing cases. They make me laugh every episode. They're awesome. I love it.
They're pretty freaking funny. Stay tuned because they'll be here soon.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I'm actually gonna go look them up because now that I'm thinking about it. So when I started dating Joel, his stepsister would always have a show on that had ghosts. And I'm thinking of this, like, girl, and she had, like, I don't want to say red hair, but it's like I don't know if it's the same person, but, like, now I want to know if this is the person that
I think I know who you're talking about, and I'm not sure it's the same person.
Okay, then I'm not going to look it up.
But you still should watch. You and Joel should watch some episodes. Literally, Debbie has an IMDb where you can go see which episode she was on of Ghost Adventures. So go find one, watch it, and I'll do the same.
Yeah, I'll think about it because I don't invite spirits, ghosts, nothing into this house.
I feel you. Just watch it while you're purposely, like, while you're burning sage, like, and holding a crystal. So I think it'll be okay.
Put salt around my couch, sit down.
100.
Like,
that's
crucifix is out.
Exactly.
Have Derby sitting in the middle of it.
Seriously, make sure she like keeps everything, you know, on the up and up.
Working at the corner of the wall. Oh no, over there.
I swear, when my cat does that, when he just like freaks out and like stares off into space, I'm like, if you don't stop doing that right now.
Well, that's like the other day when we were recording with Liam and I was telling you guys the story of when I gave Derby the little like weed chewable.
Yeah.
And she was like staring off and I was like, sit down, bitch. Like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, I was like, does she see something right now? Oh my God.
And now our group chat is named after that. We love you, Liam. Oh my God.
So all right, that was a good one.
Great.
Thank you for that. We will talk to you guys next Tuesday. Go do all those things. Go follow us on every single platform you have ever joined and been a part of. We are a part of all of them now as well. And subscribe to our YouTube because I said so. All right?
You don't need any other reason than that.
Do as you're told. 2024 is the do as you're told year, and you're leaving the not listening to me behind in 2023. All right. With that said, we will talk to you next week. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Okay. Love you. Bye. Listen to me. Damn it.
This is your ghost speaking. Do as you're told.
Ooh. Oh, that's freaky.